I'm really impressed.
They look pretty good.
They look a little bit lizard-like.
Robot arms. That's actually really disappointing.
I think this has done an okay job.
Well, hey John, it's about a year since we looked at the digital workflow. So maybe it's time to have a look at this again, see if we moved any further forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably useful to just explain to people that have not seen the video that we put out last year, but almost a year to the date, we said that we would try to create a realistic fashion pattern in Style 3D. So you can see on the left there, we had this complex pattern of a real life jacket and dress underneath. Built that in 3D and then did a quick preview render in 3D as well, which is this one here. And then the challenge we set ourselves was, could we then turn that into a realistic photo image? And then could we take that a step further and get the video generation models at the time to turn them into real videos? So this is the video we put together last year. And for anyone who's not seen it, it's out there on YouTube. So go and take a look. We talk you through the process of how we turned the model into a realistic photograph. And then we summarize the problems. And the main problems weren't anything to do with Style 3D Clo or getting a realistic photograph.
That's right.
It was in video generation, wasn't it?
Yeah. And to be fair, there were lots of problems.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of weird ghosting and morphing, and that was in terms of the anatomy and how the anatomy should move naturally, as well as some sort of weird kind of magic tricks with fabrication and even down to the garment styling, which, I mean, it just turned it into completely different styles. Here we've got some very, very funky, odd designs. And as it turned to the back, it still clung on to those prompt details and it cut out a big portion on the back. It's very weird.
And then the last one, of course, was the one that you hated the most, which was, even though we uploaded a really nice, stylish image with a pretty modern looking model and the rest, when it turned them into the video, it put these sort of 1980s catalog style poses and makeup and styling.
The makeup is nasty, kind of, bargain basement makeup is just awful. So I don't know what they trained it on, but anyway, the thing is, this was just the beginning. So it was very exciting, right?
Yeah. It was early days. It was only a year ago, but it feels like a lot has changed since the introduction of the later models. So we thought, yeah, it's a good opportunity now for us to go through and just repeat the exercise, mainly around the video generation. And it's worth letting people know that if you don't want lots of different accounts with lots of different video generation models, then we tend to use things like Freepik, which gives you the ability to just have one subscription where you can pay once a year and then you get multiple tokens to use with lots of different models. So every time a new model comes out, they tend to add it to the Freepik suite.
Yeah, I think it's also important to mention that there are several other sites that do this type of thing. We're not affiliated with Freepik, and this is not a sponsored post.
Yeah, absolutely. So we used Freepik to access the main models today. You can see here that there are different token amounts per generation. So you pay a lump sum for the year, or you can subscribe monthly. And then, for example, a VO3 generation here would cost you 12,000 tokens. It's definitely not a cheap way of generating video.
No.
Whichever tool you use, find one that allows you to generate a number of videos using the model of your preference. And we're comparing a few here for you to just see the results and see what's changed over the past few months. So first thing we did is we took the model here and then put it through Freepik's classic upscaler. And we left it at that last year because there were no other choices available at the time. But this year, you upscaled that image even further, Pete, in using, was it Topaz?
Topaz Gigapixel, which actually last year I was not impressed with the tools it was offering at all. However, they do seem to have got their act together in the last few months. And the Gigapixel version, if you use the cloud function, is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with what it's done here. I think the difference this year is we're starting off with a better photorealistic image that's not as noisy and it's upscaled. And then we fed that Topaz upscaled model into the different video generation models. So I'll quickly show how you do that. You give it your start image. You then choose which model you want it to use. And as I said in Freepik, there's lots of different video generation models here. Very often, whichever tool you're using, they'll then look at that image and try and create you a prompt.
And you can go in and edit that, can't you?
Yeah, so you could go in and edit it. And I think we found that saying things like stands, sometimes the model doesn't move, which obviously in video you don't want. So you might want the model poses for a photo shoot. I think we use that.
Yeah.
Some settings here you can change on some of them. You can't on VO3, but you can change the length and the pixel sizes and so on. When you're happy, click generate. Freepik tells you how many coins you're going to spend when you generate, and then it will give you your results. So if I just go to our results page here, when you get each one out, if you like it, you can download it or delete it. So that's basically how it works. So we'll have a look now at the generations and see if they've improved this year or not. So the first one I tried was the one 2.2, and let's see what it did.
The fabric's quite realistic and the anatomy is good. It's almost as though you can see that the fabric's a little bit translucent and you can see through just slightly, which adds more realism. And of course, we know that hair and fur is the most difficult thing to render. They look pretty good. Looks clean.
I totally agree. I think it's done a really good job. All the ghosting problems have gone, the morphing problems have gone. It's not doing any overlapping or anything weird. It even changes the hand pose very naturally and very slightly, because the original pose we gave it wasn't fantastic. Overall, I think it's done a great job. So then we had Seed Dance 1.0 Pro.
I mean, it's low quality, but it's pretty naturalistic and it's managed to retain the back detail.
Considering that it had no reference of the back,
Yeah.
I think it's done an okay job at assuming that that's how it might look at the back
Yeah.
compared to the old one that we had where it just completely made the back disappear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think this has done an okay job overall.
Yeah.
As you said, it's super low res and it does start to, again, do slightly funky things with the eyes. Occasionally they look a little bit lizard-like. But natural poses, natural movement, no weird overlapping of garment. Overall, pretty good. I don't think you asked it, though, to make her walk off screen. It just decided to do that. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So they were better than last year's
Yeah.
attempts. So let's see if Runway 4 is any better than what it used to be 12 months ago.
Oh. I like robot arms and the slits down the front, which is a nice detail, but it wasn't there on the original dress.
Yeah.
That's actually really disappointing for a year later for Runway still to be having those sorts of glitches.
Yeah. I think looking at the positives, the fabric isn't ghosting like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it does look like a proper fabric and it's keeping the fur texture. However, the way those hands don't even move, they look plastic. They look like they're stuck on bits of string inside the jacket.
Exactly. Yeah, you couldn't use that for anything.
And I also noticed as well, it's made her hair brown as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
So yeah, not great for Runway again on this test. Next one we tested was Minimax.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a newer model of Minimax. I'm not sure if it was available a year ago. Oh.
Okay. Well,
Random.
okay. You know, it's funny because it's picked up a clasp and added it to the fur coat. So it's obviously been trained on something that had that detail. But we didn't have that detail. It was clearly a button. Having said that, the fabric for the knit and the fur is really pretty good. It's just a shame that she's floating off into space.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing in the prompt that said do funky things with the camera angle and make it look like a music video. So I don't know why it decided to do that.
I don't know.
And the movement, there's not a lot of movement for her, but it's the bit that's there is good.
No, it's very good. And actually, you can pick up the vertical lines within the knit. So it's very good.
Yeah. So good score there, I think. If we could control the camera, I think the Minimax model shows promise compared to last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we've got a couple we tried with Kling 2.1. So I think Kling's always been fairly good in this test. I think we had an early version last year when we tried, but this year I'm hoping for good things. So let's see.
That's very good.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, it does feel a little bit CGI.
Yeah.
Again, her hands are a little bit robot dolly.
They are, aren't they? I don't
Yeah.
know why it's doing that for some of the models. I don't know if it's not recognizing them as hands, and so it's just keeping them completely plastic and stiff. But I would say that it's kept the face of the model probably the most realistic, and the eyes looking at you without going lizard-like. So far, the best out of all of them, I think. I think the face and the eyes, it's kept really consistent.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? But I don't know. I still would have expected things to have moved on a little bit better, than they have.
Yeah, I tested another Kling 2.1. This one was 10 seconds long as well, which usually is a good sign, as if it can stay consistent for 10 seconds, then you've got a good generation.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fidget, but the fabric is pretty good. The legs are pretty good. The fur's good.
And not randomly taking off your coat halfway through the clip and things like that. So all that, great.
There's something very strange going on with her eyes.
I agree. The face is really bad.
Yeah, it's quite strange.
So some improvements, but still not perfect yet. And to be fair, we only ran these, we gave them all just one shot, didn't we? We didn't run them several times and then pick the best. We just gave them all one shot. So we got a couple left. We'll try VO2. The weird thing with this one is I fed it a vertical image, and you'll see that it can only do 16:9 proportions.
Okay.
So it decided to start zoomed in, which I didn't ask it to do, but we'll see what happens after this. Oh,
so a different woman completely.
she's got a new face. Yeah. All this is quite nice at the beginning, even though I didn't want it to zoom in and pan up. Look how it's changed the position of the hands to make them more realistic.
Yeah, they are. There's some ambient movement, isn't there, in the hands?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That's really nice. I noticed at the back, it's guessed that this jacket should have been level cut, front and back.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I think that's done that, where we've been able to see the back. The other one that we looked at, where she walked off to the left, that lowered the back, which actually wasn't accurate. But this one has kept it a fairly short jacket, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, the dress is a little bit skinnier, and it's also got a sort of a shallow scooped neck.
So it's created a completely different top section. That's weird. And I don't know if that's because it started off low down and then almost kind of forgot what the reference was by the time it got to the top, because it's made all this wider than the original, all the lapel.
Yeah.
It's forgotten the high neck on the knit dress, and then it's completely changed the model's face.
Yeah.
So that's weird. And that's VO2. Obviously, VO3 is out now. So let's see what VO3 did. And this is the one that gets most social media interest, VO3.
And this is the most expensive to use, isn't it?
It's certainly up there with with the expensive ones. Yeah. That's awful.
Yeah. Magic trick legs. Those legs, they went the wrong way, didn't they? They sort of passed through each other.
So that back leg there was originally on the left side.
Yeah. That's no good. I mean, it for me, this is the most expensive tool that's out there, and it's the one that everybody wants to use, but it's expensive and it's not good.
The other thing I'm amazed at, the minute it starts, it changes her face and her makeup, and she looks a lot more dramatic, if you like, than the original that we fed it. And the way that she's posing is actually not really like what I imagined either. So I don't like very much about this at all. I mean, we're being super critical with this one because it's VO3. It's expensive. It's the latest model. It's supposed to be mind-blowing, but I don't think it's as good as I expected.
No. Obviously, overall, there's some new kids on the block, but they all appear to have improved slightly, but not as much as we would have hoped for, right?
Yeah.
And video always comes after image generation, so something's got to give, something has to improve. I hope that they get their act together soon.
You can see how, if you were having to generate multiple versions of this, the costs would start to mount up just in generations alone, never mind the time it takes to wait for it to generate a video. I mean, you're talking a few seconds for an image, but a few minutes for a video. And if you then have to wait that few minutes and you get this kind of quality output, it's really not ready. So I think that our conclusion is probably still the same as it was a year ago, that the 3D models are amazing. The tools that are available to map clothing and make clothing in 3D are fantastic. The image generation is photorealistic and can now be used to change poses, change scenery, and get photorealism out of those. But if you want to take that into video, you're not going to have a tool that can do it economically and viably just yet.
Yeah, that's a good summary. It really is.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, I don't know, for me, I think the 2.2 is probably my overall favorite.
Yeah.
We'll talk again in a year on this subject and see what happens, Pete.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And if you want to see the previous video, everybody, just go back into our YouTube channel. You can see the video there, along with all the other podcasts that Pete and I are starting to put out. If there's any software or tools you want us to try out, please just comment those below and we'll take a look at them. And don't forget, you can join the Fashion Guild for free on our website.